Welcome students. So in the last video class and also in online classes, I have discussed with you up to solid mixture, page number 47. So in this video lesson, I will start from separating solid liquid mixture. Okay. So solid liquid mixture can be of two types. One is soluble and another is insoluble. Soluble and insoluble mixtures of solid liquid. Okay. Soluble, if I give you an example of soluble solid liquid mixture, then we can easily say that salt plus water, they are soluble mixture. Okay. Then sugar plus water, they are also soluble mixture. But if I take insoluble, then sand and water, then chalk plus water. So these are soluble and insoluble examples of soluble, and so many more examples are also there. I am just taking the very common type examples so that you can understand the thing. Okay. So if we take salt and water, sugar and water type of solutions, so how will you separate these components from the mixture? So if we, for this process, to separate salt and water, we can go for evaporation. Okay. So in this evaporation, what is evaporation? Evaporation is the process of changing a substance from liquid state to gaseous state by increasing the temperature. Okay. But that temperature always should be below boiling point. The temperature should be below boiling point, then we call it as a evaporation. Okay. So when you evaporate salt water, what will happen? Salt get evaporated and water get evaporated to form water vapor and the salt left behind. So by the process of evaporation, we can separate this salt and water. The same process we are following in seawater also for getting salt from seawater. Okay. So the evaporation process. Now in this process you will get only the solute. Evaporation, you will get only the solute. But there is another process that is called distillation. Distillation process. So very important distillation process. In this distillation process, it is a method of separating liquid from the soluble component, first by converting liquid into vapor, then again this vapor condenses to form water. Okay. So here evaporation process and condensation process, we can do both the process in this method of distillation. For this method distillation, we need a special type of some apparatus also. Suppose we have to take a distillation flask. Okay. This distillation flask have a spout at its neck This spout is connected with the help of a condenser. This condenser is also called as Liebig's condenser. Okay, in distillation process, if you see in your book, the figure is given, figure number 3.4. The whole distillation process figure is given. So this one is the distillation flask. It is placed on the tripod stand with the help of a stand. A burner is there to heat the solution. The mouth of the flask should be tightly covered with cork, and from a cork which has a hole through which a thermometer is placed. After that, from the neck, at the neck of this distillation flask, there is a spout. From this spout, a condenser is fitted. This condenser is also connected with cold water pipeline. Okay, and this spout is having a delivery tube which passes through inside this condenser or the Liebig's condenser. So when you do this distillation process, we have to heat it. So when you heat the solution with the help of Bunsen burner, it will start evaporating. The liquid, the solvent will start evaporating, means the liquid start evaporating, and you should see the temperature here. You should not boil it, just evaporation, do the evaporation. If it is also boils, nothing is the problem, but you should see the temperature also. Okay, so when this liquid gets started changing into water vapor, this vapor passes through the delivery tube and the Liebig's condenser, which contains cold water. So what will happen here? When this vapor passes through the cold water pipe condenser containing the cold water, this vapor condenses to form liquid again, and you will collect this liquid in the another vessel, and that liquid is called distilled liquid. If it is water, we call it a distilled water. It is the purest form of water. You know, rainwater is a distilled water. It is also a purest form of water. It is the other thing that it combines with some acids, harmful acids and dust particles in the air, and we are getting the polluted rainwater. But first shower of the rain is containing that. But if it rains for long, then after first shower you will get a pure distilled water. Okay. So this distilled water is a poor conductor of electricity also. It does not allow electricity to pass through it. So by distillation process, we will get the liquid, and the solute particle, that is salt or what, will left in the distillation flask. So in this way you will get the solute and the solvent both by the process of distillation, by following the two processes, first the evaporation and then followed by condensation. Okay, so this is called distillation process. Now in the distillation process, we have to use a distillation flask. That's just I told you. This distillation flask is used as it is more resistant to fracturing of glass, and in vacuum, as also it provides a uniform heating point. Okay, and a condenser is fitted. On heating the mixture of distillation liquid, the liquid vaporizes and the solid component remain behind. So upon cooling in the condenser, the vapor of the liquid component condenses into the pure liquid. So the pure liquid is then collected in the receiver or the conical flask or any beaker you can take. So So this is called distilled or pure form of water. So this distilled water has so many applications. Suppose it has a medicinal values. We use in laboratories. We use in storage battery also. Okay. So this is called condensed distillation process. Now another way of separating the soluble components or soluble solid components in a liquid is a crystallization process. That is called it crystallization process. Crystallization process. What is this crystallization process? Again, in this process, if you want to separate sugar from water, we can do this crystallization process. Okay. So what we have to do here in this crystallization process? First condition, you have to take saturated solution. Saturated solution means a solution at a particular temperature, no more solid get dissolved, is called saturated solution. So we have to take a saturated solution, followed it by you have to do the heating, then you have to heat it, okay, up to certain temperature. After heating, you let it for cooling for, you can say 8 to 10 hours you can take. If it takes less, then it's good, but at least 8 to 10 hours you have to take for, leave it for cooling. So what we will see after cooling, the sugar molecules combine together to form some solid shaped substances and forming a definite some geometrical shapes, and that geometrical shape solids are called crystals of sugar. They are called crystals of sugar. You will get, after cooling, you will get crystal of sugar. Okay, you will get crystal of sugar. So since you are getting crystal of sugar on cooling, so this whole process is called crystallization process. Okay, so this method is obtaining pure sugar and salt crystals from their respective solution in water. Okay, so this crystal go in the size and become separated out from the remaining solution called the mother liquid. That is, water is the here mother liquid. Difference means small amount. Okay, so in this way we can separate the soluble solutes present and the from its solvent solution. Okay, so this is called crystallization process. Next method is the centrifugation method. So it is another method where solution is placed in a special type of apparatus that is called centrifuge machine. In this centrifugation method, a special type of force is used here. Centrifugation method. Okay. So in centrifugation method we have to go for centrifugal force, which is done in a special type of apparatus that is called centrifuge machine. Centrifuge machine. Okay. So inside this centrifuge machine, what we have to do? we have to put the solution. Now the solution is churned or rotates at very high speed. Okay. So when the solution is churned at very high speed, what will happen? The insoluble components of the solid which are present in the solution, or maybe sometimes the soluble components of the solution, if they are lighter, they will float over the solvent. If these solutes are heavier, then they will settle down at the bottom of the solvent. So in two ways you can separate the solute from the solution by the process of centrifugation. Okay. It has some applications also. Suppose milk from butter, butter from milk, example. Butter from milk. Okay. Since this butter or cream are lighter, very light, they will float over the milk. Okay. Not only from milk, if you take the curd also, from that also you can separate this butter. Okay. Another application, it is used in the laboratories to separate the different components of the blood. Okay. To separation of the different components of the blood. As you know, our blood contains hemoglobin, the red blood cells. If you want to separate blood cells, the protein part present in the blood, and so many other things, we can use this method, centrifugation machine, and do the centrifugation process to separate different components of the blood also. This method is also we are followed in the washing machine. So in the washing machine, what we'll see, when we go for the dry option, the machine starts rotating at a very high speed. Okay. So when it's rotating at a high speed, the water molecules present in the clothes, due to this centrifugal force, they comes out and drained. So we can we can dry up to some extent, up to 80 to 90% only it get dried, not 100%. But this 80 to 90% water molecules comes out from the clothes by the process of centrifugation or in the washing machine. So we see here, these are the methods: evaporation, distillation, crystallization and centrifugation, in which by following these methods we can separate solid from the solid liquid mixture. Okay, and a distillation process, you will get the liquid also. So students, so this is all about some of the separation techniques. So hope you have understood the thing which I have taught you in this video lesson. Please go through the watched video and again and again. If you have any confusion or doubt, please ask me in your online class also. So thank you very much. See you again in the next video class and online class. Thank you.